right. Um, uh, all right. So I just wanted to do a little bit of a after action report about the 24 hours of art demonstration that we did at the Capitol. Not yesterday, but Saturday, 2 days ago. Saturday, finished at 3 p.m. This is the painting. I guess I'll talk a little bit about the painting first. So, I started coming up with this idea like a week before the demonstration. I'm over here in the studio. I'm copying Guernica, so this is really heavily inspired by Guernica. That might be obvious to some of you. But yeah, it's heavily inspired by Guernica. This whole thing was kind of inspired by the book by Ernest Hemingway, For Whom the Bell Tolls. It's about the Spanish Civil War, and he's talking about being anti-fascist and like and how fascism like kind of took over Spain, and then they end up running Spain for the next like 30 years. And so kind of like a lot of what's going on today in America, I really was inspired by Ernest Hemingway, the like passion in which he talks about being anti-fascist. And it's like, I kind of have been like sitting on the sideline and watching some like fascist shit go on in our country, and I wanted to go out, and I was inspired by how anti-fascist he is. Sorry, I'm kind of freestyling this video. I don't really want to do a script. I don't know. Yeah, so you're gonna have to deal with my weird cadence of speaking. So this painting's heavily inspired by Guernica. I wanted to do black and white because black and white has a certain amount of like seriousness to it. I was watching this video about Guernica that was talking about how everyone got their like they got their news from newspapers, and newspapers were all in black and white photography, and so that's kind of why Picasso did Guernica in black and white. And I think that black and white has a certain amount of like seriousness, somberness, somber. What else does it have? Somber. What's the word for somber? Serious, somber. It'll come to me later. But what we've got going on here is the weapons of war. You've got the American M16 and the Soviet Kalashnikov AK-47, two very recognizable. They're like, it's like good and bad. It's like literally like Batman and the Joker. Like maybe, I don't know, what's more recognizable than that? They're just very symbolic of like the good guys and the bad guys, and like what's subconsciously like taught to us as Americans is bad guys always have AK-47s and RPGs, and the good guys, we have our M16s, or AR platform, PDW, whatever. It's not a PDW, I guess. Anyways, so we have the guns being broken, and they are supposed to be kind of like toy represent. They're supposed to look like toys, because it's a game to the fat cats in the audience, it's kind of just a game to all these people who aren't really affected by what's going on, and so they're toys. It's a game, but it's not a game because people die. And then we've got the elephant and the toy donkey. Again, toys because it's all a fucking game to these people, and they're on fire because they've failed us both. It's like red versus blue, this just game that continues to just be cycled and cycled and cycled. And one of Trevor's like big messages was like, people are waking up, or whatever, humanity's waking up. And I hope that we're waking up. He was talking about it more about like AI and stuff, and like the ecological impacts of capitalism. But to me, it's more like, or to me, like, I think at least maybe the younger generations are waking up to like, oh yeah, like this is just a game that just like keeps happening, and like every election is just like this football game that just so yeah, they're being set on fire because screw them. And then you've got the marionette puppet thing being broken. It's broken in half and the strings are severed. So to me, I just start like, what's really cool about art is that, and especially like this type of art, because like I do a lot of like really realistic paintings, and it's really fun to do those, but it's also really fun to do this type of stuff. And these things start as like an idea in my sketchbook, and it just kind of like evolves, and it's really fun to work with that evolution. It's like molding clay, except it's on a piece of paper, and you just kind of like keep adding and tweaking stuff to get it to where you want it to be. And yeah, I think it's really fun to do that. And then you kind of keep adding and or subtracting, and then you eventually get something that looks really cool and meaningful. And yeah, it's just fun to like work that vase into existence. And so and the meaning, it starts to, just like it all starts to unfold and come together, and it's cool. Because like I wasn't really thinking of this when I started this, but then once I like started to get this to be more complete, and like 20 hours into the 24 hours of art, maybe like 18 hours, maybe like 15 hours into it, I was kind of explaining to like someone who stopped by what's going on in the painting, and I realized that like the person viewing the painting is now the person, you're the one on stage breaking this stuff, because you're standing here and that puts you on stage, which is cool. I really like that. The light source is coming from not the lights on the stage, but from the heart of the dove, and like the projector or whatever would be like back here, but it's coming from the peace dove onto the weapons being broken. And stole that from Guernica as well, because the light in Guernica isn't coming from the sun that has the light bulb in it, it's coming from the gas lamp, and the symbology there is just like that the light of peace comes from like within and not from like man-made. It comes from your heart and not from your brain, maybe. And then these hash marks are supposed to be representative of chains, and the closer you get to the fat cats in the audience, the people who rule the world, the more put together the chains are, and then the closer you get to the breaking of the destruction of weapons, the more the chains are breaking and falling apart. I really like, I love stealing. I love that Picasso said that good artists copy, great artists steal. And I've stolen a lot, let me tell you. I've stolen a lot from Picasso for this painting, and I love stealing Jean-Michel Basquiat, his idea of like covering up. When you cover up words in a painting, it makes people want to know what the words say more. Under here, I wrote, like, right when I first got there, I wrote 24 hours of art demonstration for peace, for love, for unity, and then painted over it, but you can still kind of see it here in the light, and so it's kind of like, oh, what is that? And then in here, I repainted the spotlight like four or five times, because I was really starting to like lose it when we were out there. I was really starting to get tired, and I like kept mixing. I would mix up a pile that I thought was going to be light enough, and then it just wasn't, and so I reworked it like 4 or 5 times. It was crazy. And then, but under it, I wrote this one quote from Hemingway's other book, what book is it from? Damn, I can't remember what it's from, but it says, the world breaks everyone, and many are stronger in the broken places, but those that will not break it kills. It kills the very good, the very brave, and the very gentle indifferently. And if you're none of those things, it will kill you too, but you can be sure that it will be in no special hurry. Something like that. I can't believe that I remembered that. But I just love that quote so much. And so I put it in there, but then I painted over it. But you can still kind of see it down here, but it's painted over. And so like you have to go, if you're viewing it, you have to do a little investigation and kind of read that. And then you have to look up, like, because you can only see part of it, and so then you gotta look up that part of it and figure out what the quote is. A couple of things that I kind of wanted to put like barbed wire here, or like concertina wire here, to make it look like you're caged onto the stage for the fat cat's enjoyment. I don't know if I should do that. I don't know if I should touch this painting after working on it there. I kind of like it the way it is. I'm not sure if concertina wire would add much. And then also I wanted to, in Picasso's painting, the sun has like black rays coming off of it, which is really weird. It's like why would the sun be shining black rays? And so I kind of wanted to do some black rays coming off of the dove, and I just thought about that just now when I was looking at Guernica over here. Let's check and see, make sure my phone is still on and recording. It is, that's perfect. Another thing about the painting is that I really like the faceless audience members. It's like all the faceless billionaires who kind of control our country, control the world, sitting in the audience watching. And I like that it's like emotionless. There's some really good vocab words that I can't think of right now that would be good to use for this purpose. They're emotionless, faceless figures that just kind of watch the world happen. And the like main one, I kind of like that he's like hunched forward, kind of looking like, oh shit, maybe. The faceless rulers of the world. A lot of my work is, I'm not sure why this happens, or I'm not really sure why I paint like this or choose subject matter like this. But a lot of my work is always like taking a picture of something and that snapshot of time. There's this one artist that I really like that all of his work looks like, my work is always like really static. Like it's always like, it's static. There's not someone breaking, there's not someone like doing the action of breaking the stuff. It's like what happened afterwards, or and so I don't really know why that is. And this one came from just a drawing, so it's not like I like copied a picture or anything, but I guess there's one, the one artist that I really like, he always has like figures like moving and like there's always like action and stuff, and I'm kind of jealous of that. I like that, but also it seems to be, I seem to just do this type of thing. I seem to just do static images. Not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. I like the way that this looks. I like how he has the movement in his paintings. It kind of makes it more alive, I guess, but this also has a certain level of, what is the word? Solitude. It's not solitude. Like gravity. It's like somber, solitude, gravity, sadness, seriousness, to just this like snapshot of like something happened. Static image. Don't know why that is, but I like how the faceless audience members fade into the back. You've got these people in the Lincoln seats. I don't know what those things are called, but I like those things. Let's see. I think that might be all that I've got for right now. Um, but just to talk about the event a little bit, so it was really cool. It was really strange. Never done anything like that before. We got out there, set up, and then like an hour and a half into being there, the state troopers came down and told us that we couldn't be there. And then Trevor kind of pushed back and was like, well, I think we've done our research. I think we can be here. They got mad at us. They said that it's because we had structures. The easels are structures. You can't affix a sign to anything. So like even like propping up, we had these signs that were like propped up against these billiards, these like things so that cars can't run into the steps or whatever. Can't tape anything. It's like, all right. And then the lady from the like Capitol Preservation Board or whatever came down. She said that it was because we had paint. They don't allow paint on the property, and the structures, I don't like, we had drop cloths and everything. It was just kind of like semantics. They just have their rules and they don't, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's kind of silly like how rigorous, I don't know, it's like really rigorous the way that you can express free speech at the Capitol. And it's like, I don't know. And then they made us move across the street, and they said that we could go across the street. We set up across the street. 30 minutes later, they came back and said that actually that was state property as well. So then the state troopers went across the street on the other side and had our friend from the Capitol Commission zoom in on them over there with the camera, and that's city property. So then we moved over to the city property, and then the city property, we were good all night. The city police didn't come and make us move or anything, which was cool. We stayed there all night. There was some really positive feedback. There was a lot of people that came out. There was a shocking number of people drove by and then parked their car and then got out of their car and walked over and talked to us. I just didn't expect that people would do that. It was really cool. People just took time out of their day and came and chatted with us. It was insane. Some ladies baked us cookies. That was really cool. Some kid walked up. He got out of his car with his 30 rack of beer and walked up and was like, oh yeah, like I don't have much, man, but I've got some beer. Do you want some beer? And we declined because I'm sober, and also I don't think that drinking out there would have been a smart idea for the other people. A lot of people on Friday night came out and talked to us. Another really encouraging aspect was these like teenagers. There was like a few different like 18 to 25-year-olds who like came up and like talked to us, and at first I thought they were like gonna fuck with us or whatever, but then it was really cool. Like these 18-year-olds were like really interested in our work, and they're like Gen Zers, and the way that they spoke is so funny. I wish I could remember what they were saying. The way that they said like, I'm interested in this, tell me what this means. They said it like, it was like, yo, so what's the vibe on this one or something? And like, it's so funny because I'm like, what language are you speaking? But also I understand what you're saying. It was really funny. So that was really cool. Like, and they like, Trevor was like, oh yeah, I'm a muralist, and I could just see the like sparks in their eyes. They're like, whoa, you can do that? And I was like, yeah, bro, you can do that. It's pretty sick. Let's just go ahead and check again, make sure we're still recording. Yeah, so that was cool. A couple of people, there was one person who drove by and was like, we had these signs that said like, Artists Against War, and some dude drove by and was like, we love war, which was interesting. There was like a bunch of lifted trucks that came by, and Trevor and Connor were kind of concerned that we were gonna get jumped. And then there was like all these hordes of 18-year-olds on Lime scooters that were just riding around. It was kind of crazy town for a while. There was TikTok dancers that were there without a permit, and I will be telling the Capitol Commission Board on them. They came at dark after the Capitol Commission was probably gone. I'm joking, but yeah, it was kind of lit for a while, and then it got quiet, which was nice, and then it got cold. And I don't know why. I wrote down one of my lessons learned is bring more clothes than you think you'll need. Because when I was packing, I was like, oh yeah, it's like last night was really warm. I don't think I'm gonna need long underwear. And so I didn't bring long underwear, and then I was cold by between 5 and 6 in the morning, or 5 and 5 and sunrise. We were, all three of us were kind of like not painting, and we're like shriveled up and like hunkered down, and we're like, it's really cold out right now. And my legs were pretty cold, but the rest of me, I had on all my other stuff and I was pretty good. Documentation, I think that we should have been doing like regular, like every hour or something, like do a video. And photos. I wish that I had a smoothie, because I made these like sandwiches, and the sandwiches, like, just by in the morning my friends brought us breakfast, so that was cool, but then like by noon on Saturday we were 21 hours in, and I was like hungry, but I had these sandwiches and I was like, there's no fucking way I'm eating that sandwich. It was just like too heavy. Even if you don't think you need permits, you should call someone and talk to them, because that would have cleared up confusion. I'm kind of in the like Gen X or whatever, and like I just like going online and like looking at stuff, and just like, it's just nice when all the information's there and you don't have to call someone, because it's like, I don't know, it's just easy and you don't have to call someone. But calling someone would have cleared up the confusion, because it looked like, oh yeah, we can just like, it looked like, oh yeah, you only need to reserve spaces for like these designated areas, and then it was like, oh, actually you have to like, I don't know. I'm still a little bit, the rules are stupid, because like you can go out there with a sign and protest, but you can't have an easel or paint, and but it says in the rules like you can't paint like on the building, and we're like, okay, well, we have drop cloths, and there's just no room. There's no room for like, no paint just means no paint on the premises, I guess. But they should write it that way and not like no painting on what. And it's like, what are you gonna do? Argue with these people? Like, you're not gonna win that argument, and you go further with that, they're gonna take you to jail. Like, I needed stickers. Trevor had stickers, and every single person that came by, he gave a sticker to, and has his brand on there. Perfect. It was great. I really want to make a sign. For when I'm like plein air painting, I wanted to make like a floor is wet sign, except it says like art in progress, and then maybe have like a couple sentences of like what it is that we're doing, for people who don't want to like talk to us or whatever. I guess I'm not sure about that sign actually, because then maybe it would stifle conversation, because people, if they wanted to know what the hell was going on, they would have to talk to us. I needed to do some like media training. Trevor was pretty good at that. I did not expect really that, and it was just like a Facebook Live thing for one of the news organizations, but like a concise 2-sentence thing about like what we're doing would have been smart to put together. I did not think that anyone would like ask. I don't know what I thought. I needed to bring a camp chair. I only had my cooler, and the cooler was pretty uncomfortable to sit in towards the end of it. I 24 hours is a long time to stay awake, and I was up longer than 24 hours because I woke up at like 6:30 a.m. on Friday morning, and then I was awake until like 5 or 6 p.m. on Saturday. So I was gassed by the end of it. I was really tired. I was like, when it ended at 3 p.m., I was like, I'm out of here. Like, I need to go home so badly. I was like about to fall asleep. And then the last lesson, I guess, and I'll wrap this up because it's probably a long video now, but I think I need to do, my marketing was pretty militant. I like the idea of being militant. I like the idea of being serious, because I like, I don't know, I like being like the opposition to, I don't know, yeah, because there's all these people, there's all these fucking Navy SEAL fucking AG1 chillers on the internet, and they're all like, I'm serious, and it's like, I wanted to be like serious about peace, I guess. I don't know, but that might have turned some people off. I don't really understand. I don't know what went wrong with the marketing or the invite, I guess, because there's a lot of people in Salt Lake City. There's a lot of artists follow me, and I follow a lot of artists in Salt Lake, and not very many of them showed up. I don't know what the reason for that is. I don't know, like, I guess, I don't really know. It was weird to me. I thought that, like, some more artists would be like, hell yeah, I'm down, I want to come. So, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Maybe they saw those videos and they were like, that kid's insane. I'm not touching that. I don't know. But then also, like, I was saying, like, I'll, like, if you can't come, at least, like, repost this. And no one really, not so many people reposted my videos. I don't know what the deal is with that. I think maybe just, like, too militant. I look too scary, I guess. And then, yeah, there's a lot of like people on TikTok that were like, I'm coming for sure. And then I messaged them the details, and then they were like, didn't come. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't know. Next time I'll be less militant, be more fun, I guess. I don't really know. But yeah, it was really fun. It was really cool. It was really encouraging. There was a lot of positive feedback. I really liked that. And yeah, it was really cool. I've never done anything like that. It was intense. It was fun. It was really fun to just hang out with Connor and Trevor for 24 hours. It was like, I guess we're going to learn a lot about each other because I didn't really know either of them. And that was cool. That was pretty fun. And yeah, I'd do it again. They didn't want to do it again in the winter, but I kind of think that it would be intense to do it in the winter. But I don't know. It was hard. It was like an athletic event. But it was fun. Cool. Thanks for watching.